and welcome back to Wine and Positive Vibes. I have some exciting news today. A couple weeks ago we sent in a wisdom panel DNA test for Nox, and this morning I got an email saying that we got the results back. They said it could be a lot more weeks than that, but it came in early. I believe that's what happened last time I did this with Creature too. But I'm about to look at the results and share them with you. So it looks like okay. There are only 2 breeds detected in Nox, which is shocking to me. I thought he would have at least 3. He is 79% French Bulldog and 21% Bulldog. So he's definitely a Bulldog through and through. He definitely has a lot of characteristics of a French Bulldog. There were just some features that made me think that wasn't the only thing he had. However, Bulldog is a Bulldog, so pretty great. I like those results. Obviously these days French Bulldogs are kind of the new big thing. They kind of are top in the charts these days, instead of like the ultimate lab, which was forever the top. So we got French Bulldog and Bulldog. Not mad about that. I always considered getting a French Bulldog. Let's see. There's some other fun stuff on here. It shows his unique genetic code. They found 11 of Nox's relatives. None of them are close relatives, so no probably siblings or parents or anything, but there are 2 extended relatives that share 7 and 8% with him. One is named Frankie, and he's from Des Moines, Iowa. And one is named Broly, and he is in Minnesota, so same as us. And then there are 9 distant relatives, so probably just like parents, siblings, or further out, their kids maybe. But there's a bunch of those all over. We've got California, Nebraska, Maryland, Florida, Colorado, and there's another one in Minnesota. His name is Jackpot. He looks like a straight up French Bulldog. So kind of a cool thing with Wisdom Panel is you can see if other dogs who have done this match, and a lot of them will post pictures of their dogs on there so you can see what they look like. So that's pretty cool too. Let's see here. So this is guessing that his parents were both French Bulldog, Bulldog mixes, or potentially one was a French Bulldog and one was a French Bulldog, Bulldog mix. Because he has so much French Bulldog in him, there's a good chance both parents had French Bulldog in them. But yeah, that's pretty cool. The other thing about Wisdom Panel is they also have health information. So because I adopted Nox and we don't really know a ton about his background, I did pay for the one with the health information. This did detect 3 genetic conditions in Nox's DNA. He's at risk for 1, he's a carrier of 2, and he's clear of 264 of the things they tested for. So let's see. He is at risk for chondrodystrophy and invertebral disc disease, which is a skeletal disorder characterized by shortened limbs and abnormal early degeneration of spinal discs. So that's something he's at risk for. It's good to know, just something to watch out for. And then, let's see. Okay, he's a carrier of canine multifocal retinopathy 1, which I'm assuming has to do with the eyes. Yep, it's an eye disorder that can cause retinal decay and impact vision. I feel like that's pretty common amongst Bulldogs. So he is a carrier for that. Could be a problem, could be not. If he had offspring, they would probably be greatly at risk, especially if we breeded him with somebody, but he is neutered, so there will be no puppies out of him. So he is also a carrier of degenerative myelopathy, which is a neurological disorder usually affecting dogs in their senior years, which is loss of hind limb coordination. So it's interesting to know these things. There's something to look out for. If I see anything funky happening, I know that those are things that he carries. But everything else that they tested for, which again was 267 tests, everything else was clear, so that's good. It also will show you traits and behaviors that genetically your dog may be prone to. So they performed 58 genetic trait tests on his DNA. Things as simple as coat color and type. He has 3 special coat color variants. So fawn, which is the lighter color of his fur, that's the fawn color. Dominant black, which is true, he's mostly very dark fur. And then he has a recessive red. Now the dominant black shows black or brindle possible. Obviously he's a brindle, but you can still see that fawn color, so that's pretty cool that you can see this stuff just in DNA. Everything else they tested for, like black masks, tan points, widow's peaks, anything like that, they were all not in his DNA. And then red intensity. So it looks like a color modification trait they found was red intensity. He had 2 copies of that trait. It says white and yellow coat shades likely. So that probably goes to show another reason why he's got so much of that really light color in his fur. It says genetically it's likely Nox is not hairless. I think that's accurate. It says Nox's genes say he probably has short fur that's either straight or wiry. Definitely short fur. Shedding. We found 1 special shedding variant in Nox's DNA, and that's reduced shedding, which is very common amongst bulldogs. Creature has the same variant. It's pretty nice to have. I do feel like Nox sheds a tiny bit more than Creature, but not much. Genetically, he has 2 traits that they tested for head shape. One is short snout, which obviously is very true, and the other one is also a short snout variant. So it's pretty accurate if you ask me. Eye color, it says Nox likely has brown or amber eyes, although blue eyes can occur due to other variants. He does have very dark brown eyes. And then his ears, so this one's interesting. It says Nox has genes for more upright or pricked ears. Well, obviously Nox is special, and he's got 1 upright ear and 1 floppy ear, which I adore. It's one of the things that I love about him. It says extra toes. Nox appears to have the most common number of toes for a dog. 5 on each front paw, 4 on each back paw. That is accurate. Nox does not have extra toes. More body traits they found. 1 additional feature in his DNA, which is short legs. That is very true. He is short-legged. He makes Creature feel really big to us because we're so used to Creature. So those are the physical traits he's got. Behavioral traits, he's got more likely for weight gain issues. So we do have to be really careful with his diet, making sure he's exercising, just so that he doesn't do that, especially with things that can affect his back legs in older years. You kind of want to really watch the obesity on those ones. This is interesting. It says he most likely avoids getting wet. Nox actually really likes water. Creature, on the other hand, is terrified of water, but Nox loves the water. He likes to swim. So that one is not true. Reverse sneezing, it says he's more likely to do that. Now, I believe that is when they make a really gross, weird sound, but it's like kind of like snorting. He does do that, so that is true. It says he's more likely for that. Splooting, which is when a dog puts their back legs out behind them. It's super cute. He does that all the time, and it says he's way more likely to do that. I think that's very much a French Bulldog thing. And then he's more likely to pant. He does obviously pant a lot. Also a Bulldog thing, the way they're built. This is cool. It says his generalized fear and anxiety is pretty low, it's pretty standard. That's nice, and it's very true. He's not very, he doesn't have a whole lot of anxiety or anything about being in his kennel, being away from us. He doesn't have a lot of that, which is nice because Creature is off the charts. It says he's less likely to cross his paws when he lays down. He does not do that. Rexa does that. At least she did a lot as a puppy. I think I've seen it less lately, but she does do that. It said he is typical to be friendly towards unfamiliar people. That's very true. He loves people. Hesitant towards unfamiliar people, not at all. Let's see. Less likely for separation anxiety, which is nice. Less likely for motion sickness. I've not had any problems with him in the car. He does very, very good in the car. So does Creature. Pointing instinct is less likely. He is not a pointer. He doesn't point, however, he can track an animal like you wouldn't believe. This dog is a chaser, and squirrels, bunnies, birds, anything, he's trying to get to it. Says he's less likely to sleep on his back. I don't think I've ever seen him sleep on his back. So that's nice. The other thing they do is weight guidance. So it kind of tells you a little bit about your dog's weight factors. And it says Nox's ideal weight range is 33 to 55 pounds. Now, 55 pounds for Nox would be really heavy. He would, I think, in my opinion, he would be obese at that weight. And it would probably affect his back legs. 33 says is healthy. He sits at 39 pounds, so he's right in his range there. He's pretty healthy shape right now. I don't think he needs to lose or gain any weight at this point. But like I said, with those back leg things, it's really important just to keep his weight down. So I just watch that really carefully. So it's nice that they tell you that, especially for people who have mutts that don't know exactly what's in them. They don't really have an idea of what's an ideal weight for their dog. Obviously, you can always go off of, you don't want to see their ribs, but you want to feel them. You don't want a dog that's got a bunch of fat that's like coating their ribs and stuff. That's just not good for them. So you can always go off that if you don't know what the ideal weight range for your dog is. But yeah, so that's our results. They're pretty exciting. I do think it's cool that he only has 2 breeds of dog in him. He was said to have most likely come from a puppy mill as a puppy. So it does kind of make sense because puppy mills tend to usually try to stick with purebreds because that's where the money is. So it makes sense that there's less in there. I just thought there would at least be 3. Several people, including myself, thought there could very well be Boston Terrier in there, but I did see the French Bulldog traits, so there's that. But yeah, that's Nox, and now we know what he is. Have a nice day, and we'll see you next time.